This is normally where I'd wait for Nefarious to say something snarky, and then you would get a witty response from me. However, unfortunately for today, Nefarious is at a class or something, so he's not able to be here. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 61, I believe, of the CLG Faithful podcast. Welcome. I am your normal co-host of this podcast, Artrin. Nefarious, like I said, he is unable to be here right now, so I'm doing it anyways. There wasn't really a whole lot of CLG news this week. This is going to be a relatively short podcast. I will lead up to that saying, though, that at the end of April, there will be a week or two, I believe 2 weeks, where neither me or Nefarious will be in the country. We actually both will be heading to Japan roughly at the same time. So I believe there is 1 week where I will be doing a solo episode, and then there will be a week or so where he is doing a solo episode. However, there is about 2 weeks overlap where we are both in Japan, and we are hopefully going to be able to meet up for the very first time ever. I've never actually met him in person. We hope to, but never happened. And so, yeah, that's going to be pretty cool. We'll be in Japan. Yeah, right on. Well, we'll get right into it. Like I said, there wasn't a whole lot going on this week. We had CLG.Red was playing in the Copenhagen Games 2018 female. As well, we had some, was this Rocket League? Rainbow Six. Or sorry. Smite. I'm just like, wait, it's like we got so many new esport games that we are part of now that it's hard to keep track. Like you see R and then there's blah 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 blah. This is Smite. We got some CSGO and we got some Smite in here, all doing good. So we'll start off with CLG.Red in CSGO. Now they are at the Copenhagen Games, which is part of an all-female event. So this is an all-female tournament. There's 26 teams, and they're spread up again amongst a bunch of groups. It's pretty cool. And the girls, they started off in the group stages. So they were going up against teams like Tylo female, LGB female, Dignitas female, and Singularity female as well. Their first game up was against Tylo female. And they were playing, like I said, so if you haven't really been keeping track of it or you're new to it, CLG.Red has had quite a lot of change in the last little while. Benita and Dai are the two kind of consistent players that we've had for the last little while. However, in now, we also have Emmy, Riff and J, or Jennifer, and Promise 9K. So the last three were the newest members basically over the last few months that CLG.Red has had and brought in. We all know Miss Harvey left about a year ago or so, and we've had a few other kind of swap in and stuff like that. It sucks to see him go, but hopefully, with the girls roster they have right now, they are looking pretty strong. So up against Tylo female, their first map was Overpass, and holy moly, was that a freaking domination. The girls beat them 16-4. Now I should say these are all best of threes. Their next matchup was on Mirage, where the girls actually took a loss, but it was a pretty close game, dropping it 12-16 in favor of Tylo. That's a pretty good one on Mirage. We don't see a whole lot of Mirage. I think that's kind of a map that they just generally don't want to play on, and I don't know if it's like kind of whole overbearing CSGO thing. The guys always want to play on Mirage. It's like every time you go into a CSGO match and it's a best of 3, best of 5, there's almost always Mirage. Not quite on this one with the girls. Going into the third and final match, it was Inferno. Now, normally as a CLG fan, you're like, oh god, Inferno on CSGO. However, those were the CSGO.Blue days. CSGO.Red days, ladies and gentlemen. Inferno is good. And yes, the girls beat Tylo female 16-12. Nice. So that means they move into the playoffs round of 16. So their next matchup is against LGB Fee. And the first map of the game was Cash. And man, a relatively close matchup, but I'm going to say, like, Dai played her freaking heart out all weekend. Truthfully, they all played really, really well, but I'm not going to lie. Dai was putting up some numbers. Cash 16-12 for the girls, CLG.Red. Next map up was Train, and this was one of the only maps I actually got to watch, and holy crap did these girls dominate on Train. It was insane. When I tuned in, I was like, wait, are they playing like a bunch of amateur teams or something like that? Because man, this was a good match. Dai and Emmy both putting up massive, massive numbers in this game. Train 16-5, CLG.Red. That means they move into the quarterfinals. Yeah. And here they come up against Team Dignitas. And oh boy, map 1 was Cash. You kind of getting that idea is like everyone seems to want to play like Cash. I don't know. The girls win 16-3. Absolutely crushed Dignitas. Map number 2, Nuke. Can you guess the score? It's a little worse. 16-7. Not too bad. The girls beat Dignitas V and move into the semi-finals, where they face off against Singularity V. Now, map 1 was on Inferno, and unfortunately, I think we're taking a little bit of a counter logic approach here. The girls ended up dropping in the semifinals to Singularity on map 1, 6-16. A little tough. Map number 2 was Overpass, though, and it wasn't much better of a result there. 8-16 for Singularity, meaning that CLG.Red is knocked out of the Copenhagen Games 2018 in 3rd, 4th place. Not too bad, though. That's a pretty big upgrade since the last time we saw them playing in, I believe it was Katowice. Really, really good play. Especially the one map I got to watch. I mean, it's Train, and the girls clearly picked Train for a reason. But watching them play on Train was an absolute it was fantastic. Like, you could really tell that they were starting to kind of like synchronize together and really kick ass together, as opposed to just like, okay, let's put an op on Riff and J and just let her go to town on people. It was really, really well played. Good cohesive teammates. Definitely tell that they are making really good callouts, and hopefully we get to see this team kind of keep going, because a third, fourth place finishing in a tournament like this is pretty damn good. Pretty damn good for the girls, especially considering what we saw at Katowice, where it kind of seemed like they were a little lackluster. Fantastic job, ladies. Next up, we will move into some Smite here. Now, this is CLG versus Space Station Gaming. Now, this is part of their SPL, so that's just like the SMITE Pro League. That's just one of their normal things, just like we have the NALCS, that's a regular season game. Now, sometimes they will be playing 2 games. Sometimes they'll only play 1, and then 1 week they won't play at all. So next week they're playing 2 games. This week they played 1, because I think they played 2 the previous 2 weeks, 2 weeks ago or something like that. I can't remember exactly. But yeah, these are all online, best of 3s. And yeah, let's get right into it. So we were playing against Team Space Station Gaming, as I said earlier. Both teams were both 2-0 after the first week, or after their first kind of weeks of league play. So that means that if CLG wins, they take possession of first. If they lose, then they end up taking, I believe, moving into a tie for a second. So we'll move right into it. We have game 1. This is really confusing to look. And I mean, truthfully, again, I don't know a lot about Smite, but we'll look into it. And so seriously, great game by CLG. It looks like absolutely crushed Space Station Gaming in game 1. 17 kills to 11. 104,000 gold to 88.8k gold on Space Station. I mean, 20k gold lead in 40 minutes is pretty darn good, I would imagine. We had Sobek going 5 OK. I was like, Sobek, what the heck? 5 OK going 2-0 and 11. Amazing. Homeef going 7-4-6. Hurry Win going 4-5-3. Jigs went 3-1-9, and Snoopy went 1-1-8. Pretty damn good showing. I mean, considering on the other team, every single one of their players went negative except for their mid laner. So we'll move into game number 2. And this was just, I don't know what they did to Space Station Gaming in game 1, but whatever they did, it was just like an absolute domination, because game 2 was a domination. Less sub 30-minute game, 20 kills to 7 for CLG. 81.5k gold to 64.3k gold. Absolute domination. Hurrywood making a bit of a better showing here on the Janus. He goes 3-3-11 this game instead of 3-5 or 4-5-3. Jigs going to 1-0-12. Man, holy crap, that was pretty good. And then Fine OK going 6-2-12. Fantastic scorelines on all. Snoopy goes 5-1-4. Homief. I'm having a hard time pronouncing his name. 5-1-11. It's great to see the CLG boys kicking butt here. That means I believe they take sole possession of first place right now, which is fantastic for CLG. Fantastic. I'm glad to see CLG up there in the lead. So it does look like, looking at the results, we have first place because we have a 100% win rate, whereas Space Station Gaming played 2 games this week and ended up winning one of their games. So they're 3-1, we're 3-0. We have a 100% win record going 6-2. That means we have a slight edge over Space Station Gaming to be in first place. Pretty awesome to be CLG and Smite right now. That is awesome. Hopefully we can kind of bolster it. Maybe get like a little bit between the League of Legends team and the Smite team. Maybe they can like kind of compete. I know Smite is not as large of a game as League of Legends is, but at the same time, like Smite is just as tough of a game. So, you know, you have all that great competition. Maybe you can just like throw a little bit and be like, hey, you know, like look at these guys. They're playing a MOBA and they're in first place CLG, right? Come on, boys, you can do it. You can do it. Yeah, so I mean, that's all the esports news we have right now. If you are listening to this as soon as it's uploaded, CLG is playing MOUZ esports right now for the Rainbow Six Pro League Season 7. They're in the Group B losers match right now, which means CLG needs to win this game in order to get into the playoffs, I believe it is. And then if they do that, to stay out of relegations. And if they lose here, then they have to go into relegations, which means that they will, you know, be on the line. And that would absolutely suck. Yeah. So, yeah, guys. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot of news this week. I think mainly because it was the Easter long weekend there. And there's probably not a lot of people really doing anything. Next week, we got some Rainbow Six. We got some Smite, 2 games of Smite, and 2 games of Rocket League as well. Hopefully that'll be a little bit more busy of a week. And yeah, this has been the CLG Faithful Podcast. We are an unofficial podcast, but we come out every week right away around this time. And if you like what we're doing, please take a second to subscribe to us on YouTube, or you can follow us on Google Play or iTunes. You can also follow us on Twitter if you ever so likely would. You can also give us a ratings on iTunes and Google Play. And hey, if you like or have any criticism or comments or constructive criticism especially, send us an email over at clgfaithful@gmail.com. Thank you guys very much for listening. I am Artrin, and my usual co-host Nefarious will be with us next week. You guys have a fantastic evening, and peace.